ever felt like you don't belong? Like you're an outsider looking in? For many underrepresented groups, that feeling, it's a daily reality. But what if I told you that by embracing your unique background can be your greatest strength? I'm here to talk about claiming your seat at the table so that you can use that very unique background of yours to make a positive change in this world. Because in order for change to occur, as the saying goes, you've got to be in it to win it. Let me take you all on a little journey. Imagine growing up on the streets of East London, hearing both the chiming bells of Bow and the vibrant sounds of Bhangra and Bollywood at home, where family dinners and Sunday roasts, they were served alongside a massive plate of samosas with a dash of chutney, where conversations, they switched seamlessly from English to Punjabi. Eyo, Dad, what's on the telly tonight? Versus, Mom, mainu bhukh lagi hoa, which means, Mum, I am hungry in Punjabi. Now that was a daily reality for me, and I often felt torn between these two worlds, not knowing which one that I truly belonged to. Because during the day, being at school, I was British. Yet coming home at the end of the day and getting changed out of my school uniform into my traditional attire, I was Indian. Growing up, I never saw people who looked like me or sounded like me in positions of power and authority. I never saw a brown face. I never saw a female face. I didn't even see a working class face in police uniform. And that is a problem, because when we don't see ourselves being represented, we don't feel like we belong. We don't feel like we can make a difference. But I am here to tell you that we can and that we must. You can probably imagine the conversation that I had with my family and my friends when I told them that I was going to be joining the old bill. That was my first challenge. No, you can't. It's not for people like us. Why do you want to go and do that for? You're a woman. It's a man's job and it's a man's world. And that was just a snapshot of the phrases that were howled at me. And in all honesty, it just made me so much more determined to not just prove everybody wrong, but I knew that in order for me to make a difference, in order for me to represent my people and to represent the underrepresented people, I had to be part of the system. I had to be in it to win it. So I did just that. When was the last time someone tried to crush your dreams? Who was that person for you? For me, it was a group of friends who slowly started to disappear from my life as soon as I joined the old bill. And what that made me realise was that they weren't even my friends in the first place, because the ones that were, they stuck by me and they are still here with me today. Now, if getting to grips with my identity growing up wasn't challenging enough, I felt like I had to prove myself when I entered the world of policing. And that is when my second challenge came about. Walking into the nick, I often felt like I was the only person of colour. And that was quite isolating and intimidating. The absence of familiar faces, it made it really hard to feel accepted and to feel included. And I'm sure that we've all felt like that at some point in our lives. Like we have to work a little harder, stand a little taller, and shout a little louder for our voices to be heard. And believe me, I had a lot to say. What I realised throughout this whole journey was the power and the importance of self-belief, because there are going to be moments in our lives where we all doubt ourselves, just like I once did, but I had to remind myself of my purpose. I was there to make a difference, to protect and serve my community, and to challenge the status quo, all within the same process. My journey, it was far bigger than me. It was about being my true, authentic self and showing up every single day. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy. And there were setbacks and there were challenges along the way. But with each challenge, it made me that much more stronger. I learned to stand my ground, to advocate for myself, and to advocate for those who didn't quite have their voices yet. I have seen the beauty of diversity live in action. But with that same beauty comes the challenge of being seen, heard, and valued. So when I enter a room now or I meet people for the first time, I make sure that I share my story with them. I make sure that I share my cheeky Cockney accent with them and my rich Punjabi background, because each detail, it adds a layer of richness to that conversation. I wear my background and my heritage as my Taj, an intricate crown that reminds me of my roots wherever I go. And I'm not just bringing with me my people, I'm bringing with me a history that is bursting with resilience, a faith that teaches me to stand strong, and a culture that is so rich in wisdom. Imagine if we all wore our backgrounds as our very own Taj. Think of the dialogues we could have. Think of the solutions we could create. Our differences, they do not divide us. They actually unite us towards a shared journey of learning and empowerment. So why does representation matter now more than ever? The truth is, when we look around us, we often find a table that's been set without us. And for a lot of people, that table, it's a symbol of decision-making. It's a symbol of power, and it's a symbol of influence. Yet, for far too long, voices like mine, and perhaps even voices like yours, they've been silenced, omitted, or just simply ignored. And it's about damn time that changed. So how do you claim your seat at the table? Well, first, you've got to believe that you deserve a seat, because when you believe, you are more likely to take action. A lot of us wait for an invitation that may or may not arrive. It's time to stop waiting for this invitation and to start making room for ourselves. Whether you're a young artist, a curious student, or a seasoned professional, there is no wrong way to approach this. Begin by sharing your story and speaking your truth unapologetically. Because representation, it's not a single act. It's an ongoing movement, whether that is through the arts, conversation, activism, or simply existing in spaces where you previously felt invisible. Every act counts. Advocate for yourself and don't wait for recognition. Let your contributions speak for themselves, no matter how big or small they are. And know your worth and the value of your skills and your lived experiences and what that brings to the table. Because if you don't, then how are you going to educate the ignorant people who do not want to integrate with the beautiful cultures, faiths, diversities, sexual orientations that this world has to offer? How is this world going to evolve? A lack of representation, it feeds ignorance, misunderstanding, and bias. And a decision made without our voices is a decision made in shadow. And without diversity at the table, we risk creating a world that is so unbalanced and fraught with conflict. In my culture, in the Punjabi culture, we have a saying, and it's called Chardi Kala. And what that means is maintaining a high state of spirits and resilience. It is that same resilience that helps us to push through barriers, proving that change is possible and that change is worthwhile. As I look at you all today, I see a room full of storytellers, innovators, change makers, all ready to claim your seat at the table. I challenge each and every one of you to not just claim your seat, but to make room either side of you for someone else as well. Engage with those who are different from you and learn from their journeys. In fact, if you all are able, I would like for you all to rise up from your seats and join me in what I'm about to say to you right now. I want you to bask in this energy. That's it. Don't be shy. Put your heads up, your shoulders back. Yeah? Your shoulders back, your chest forward. And I want you to make a fist and put it on your hips, just like that. Remember, your background is your superpower. So step into your superpower and wear your background proudly, for it is a beautiful gift that you can give to the world. And if after all this, and for whatever reason, you still cannot claim your seat, or they won't give you your seat, you build your own damn table and you take your own damn seat. Thank you.